Reveal a natural, radiant glow with Tizo Tinted Moisturizing Serum. With skin-loving ingredients like hyaluronic acid, glycerin, and ceramides, this serum delivers long-lasting hydration, leaving skin feeling nourished and refreshed. 5 luminous shades provide a radiant hint of buildable color with a glowing, sheer finish that enhances your tone and texture. Gentle, all-mineral SPF 30 and antioxidants protect against UV and environmental damage. Experience skincare that hydrates, protects, and perfects with Tizo's Tinted Moisturizing Serum. Visit tizoskin.com for details. Are you interested in providing results-driven treatment services? Join a team of like-minded individuals who share your passion and support your success. With more than 1,000 franchised locations in 49 states, Massage Envy is not only the nation's #1 provider of massage services collectively across its franchise network, but also a national leader in skincare. Start or grow your career at a Massage Envy franchised location. Visit massageenvy.com/Esty careers for full details.
Hello and welcome to ASCP Esty Talk. I'm Ella Cressman, licensed esthetician, certified organic skincare formulator, international educator, and content contributor for Associated Skincare Professionals.
I am Maggie Staszcuk, licensed esthetician and ASCP's program director.
Maggie, I am so excited for today's episode. You have no idea, but I want to do something first.
Okay.
Before we get started. So you and our listeners, unless you're driving, I want you to close your eyes and imagine this. Imagine that you are in a dimly lit spa room. You're under a blanket, you're wearing a wrap, maybe a headband. The music is just soft enough that you can't totally identify what genre it is, what the song is. It's just soft and playing in the background. You can smell things like eucalyptus maybe, or maybe some sort of citrus. You can hear the sound of the steamer. And then a soft voice, your esthetician lets you know that they're going to get started by cleansing your face. And you feel completely panicked. Crazy thought, right?
It is,
right?
Yeah,
This is how we're like setting up our treatment rooms. This is what we kind of are doing to establish treatment. We're like, this is normal for us. On that note, I'd like to introduce our guest today, Janice. So Janice Gonzalez is a licensed esthetician, the owner of Amora J Studios in Santa Fe Springs, California. And she's been internationally recognized for her skills. But more importantly, she is dedicated to demonstrating a commitment to inclusivity and ensuring something I never thought about really, and that is sensory safe environments. She has developed these specialized protocols to accommodate clients with autism and other disabilities. Because of that, she advocates for the spa and personal service industries to become more knowledgeable about a really important topic, and that's sensory processing disorder. Her aim is to create inclusive experiences for individuals of all abilities. Welcome, Janice.
Thank you for having me.
So excited. This is just a topic that I really hadn't ever thought about. Had you thought about it, Maggie?
No, I don't think about, perhaps this is an uncomfortable situation for my clients, but they still want that self-care.
Right. Yeah. And Janice, I have to be honest, this is something really never crossed my mind. And now that I'm aware, I am aware. Like I am hyper aware of things now, especially after talking to you. So how did you get started in all of this?
So I am a mother to a daughter who is on the spectrum. But I'm kind of was in the same boat as all of you. It wasn't until her older sister was getting a facial done by me, and it was just like a cute little chocolate mask, little cleanse. And she wanted it. And so I laid her down and she had a really big outburst. So, at first I was like, okay, take a minute, breathe, we'll come back. And as soon as she laid back down, she like shot back up and at the time she was very nonverbal, like had very few vocabulary words and things like that. So she was like touching her sister's face and just staring at it. So then I asked her, I was like, do you want that? And she like nodded her head. Yeah. And so I think that was like the turning point for me, because I was like, oh my God, like I have worked in, resorts and really nice spas, and never have I thought like that difficult client might have just been overstimulated. And seeing her, like, she didn't want to lay down. She wanted to sit straight up. She wanted the lights back on. She didn't want the steam. She didn't want me to touch her very much. Like, learning how to give her what her sister received just in her own way. I realized, like, in the spa industry, it's to cater to the client, right? Like, so then I was like, there are so many other people like you that are probably wanting their skin taken care of. And they either have sensory processing disorder, or just like the overstimulation is too much. So they just say, never mind. So that was kind of how it started. And I was just working on her. And then, like, fast forward, I don't know how many months, one of the moms from like an autism mom group, she had a son with acne. And I was telling her, I was like, I finally figured out how Luna can enjoy a facial, like a little face mask and things like that, without her being so overstimulated. And that was when she asked, she's like, do you think you can help my son? And I was a little nervous, just because I was like, I know what these behaviors entail. They can get violent. He's a boy, like, and so I told her, I was like, are you going to help me? And she's like, I'll help hold him down if he gets, a little outburst or what have you. So because of her and her son, I have been able to create the protocols and the approaches we have now. So I always tell him, I go, you crawled so all these people can fly, because had you not, like, I saw how hard he was working to, like, white knuckle through certain things, and his mom trying to figure out how to communicate with me for him. And just learning all of things, it still gets me a little emotional, because I just remember he was a 14-year-old little boy really wanting to take care of his face. And he comes from a home where skincare is very important. She's very into her facials and things like that. So for him, he was like, I want it too. Help me. So he went through a lot of, figuring out, okay, that's a definite no. This is a maybe, like letting me experiment with him. And now I think currently about 7 teens on the spectrum that are all getting treated with their acne. And it's a relaxing environment for them because of him. So I'm super grateful for them too.
Now, there's something that happens, right? With the sensory, the overstimulation isn't just as simple as what might be happening in the treatment room. It has an effect outside of the treatment room too, like before and then after, right?
Yeah, so it's a daily I don't want to call it a struggle, but it is definitely a daily thing that occurs with them, and it can happen moment for moment. So what in my research, what I have found is, when we're in utero, our neurons, and they look like these little tree branches, right? And there's thousands of little branches on this thing, and they're all connected, and it helps us develop quickly in the womb, so that we can prepare for birth. Well, as we progress in utero, they start to die off, and there's only a certain amount that we're needing to survive outside the womb. So with people with sensory processing disorder, or that are neurodivergent, they don't lose the correct amount. So that's where, like, say, like a foamy jelly sensation might affect, let's say, 2 neurons of that branch. It might affect 100 for somebody who's neurodivergent. That's why it's so overstimulating. And then your brain thinks, I need to survive. It kicks into fight or flight. And then that's when, like, healing, your nutrition, your hydration, bodily functions, they stop until your brain signals, okay, we can survive here and we can continue. So yeah, it's gonna be something, I feel like, with ABA and OT and things like that. They work so hard to teach people to what you would, I guess, be considered neurotypical. But it's really, we need to realize, as a society too, this is exponentially more common for somebody to be neurodivergent. So as a society, we need to realize, okay, when that is happening, what are some things that we can help out with in society? Just as we would see somebody who can't speak, who can't hear, someone who's blind, we would take that extra step to help them. And this is something that is becoming something that we need to be a little bit more aware of.
There's something you said, Janice, that really stuck with me, which is maybe that challenging client is just being overstimulated. And it's so easy to just pass to judgment and think, well, they are one of those clients, but they maybe have something else going on. And so I love that you're creating this program and thinking about ways to accommodate those people that still want their skin cared for, and they just need a different environment or setting to have that happen.
I think the part of it too that I can empathize with that is my sister was not I don't think she was officially diagnosed, but I know she has sensory processing disorder and it's specifically with sounds. So all her life she would get really, really angry if like we were talking and then somebody in the same room was talking. It was like way too much for her. And then the TV going. And, she doesn't have a disability. So we always just thought, oh, you're just being stubborn. You're being difficult. And it wasn't until later on, I want to say she was in her late teens, maybe early 20s. They were like, okay, let's test your hearing because if we called her, she would not answer. And my mom would get so frustrated. She's like, I know you hear me. She's like, I don't hear you. So then they thought, okay, let's test your hearing. Maybe that's what it is. Hearing was completely fine. So that's when the doctor said, your brain cannot handle too many sounds going at one time. And I see it in her facials. Like she doesn't like the steam. She doesn't like certain things. Like she likes me to do the bare minimum with the touching and even extractions. It's just a lot. And she doesn't have a disability, but knowing what she likes and how to accommodate her, it will build a lasting relationship with our clients because they know I can speak up. You're going to make me calm and I'm going to be able to get the results that I want. And that comes with her home care too. All of these teens and my sister, it's very, well, what are you looking for? Why didn't you like that? Let's curate something else. So understanding your formulations, your actives, how to approach the anatomy of your skin, it all kind of entails on our end to just make that custom routine for them. And because of that, they will just fully trust you. And it's a really close bond that you have with these clients.
It's interesting too, because I'm imagining some of this, like the sensory processing, the stress that comes on, or the emotions that happen after having overstimulation as a neurodivergent. It causes actual skin changes, like the histology part of that. But so that's a key part too, not wanting to spark those, which is going to cause stress, which can cause acne or dryness, like you were saying earlier. But for me, can you help me understand what is the difference between having sensory processing disorder and then being neurodivergent?
The very fine line is really the disability part. Because someone with ADHD that has autism and things like that, their brain has other things going on with it. Whereas sensory processing disorder is strictly just your sensory nervous system is what gets overloaded. So like my sister, she is what you would consider neurotypical, right? So the only thing is that sometimes the way her brain perceives noises or feelings and things like that, it just gets overloaded. But she has the ability mentally to be able to be like, okay, I just need to take a breath. It's fine. She can calm herself back down. Whereas somebody with autism, they already don't have a clear understanding of why something may be happening, right? So then when the sensory overload kicks in, it's just way too much. And a lot of it, from what I'm finding, is more of that fight or flight. They are just in survival mode until they can bring their environment back to a place where they understand or at least feel safe. And those are the two key differences in the sensory processing disorder, the two sides of it.
Thank you for leading the charge on this too. I think it's a really cool subject. You're expanding it though, right? So let's just recap. You started with your daughter and this curiosity and drive to want to help her and understand her, moved into your community of other mothers with neurodivergent children, and then sensory processing disorder. But you're going beyond that, right?
A couple people brought it up to me that PTSD is really linked to sensory processing disorder too, but more of like an acquired sensory processing disorder where, maybe us rubbing the neck from somebody who was like in a DV situation might get triggered, or someone who, like a veteran, certain things might just trigger certain feelings and emotions, and it's too much. So I'm realizing now that I can help in other ways. I had a client not too long ago where she even told me, she was like, I was in an abusive marriage, and she's like, I just really don't want this. She never wanted to take her shirt off, but I was like, why don't you want me to relax you? And she's like, it's just my past. I don't want you to touch past my chin. And I was like, oh, okay. So now what I do too is like I give her more blankets, like I'll layer everything and I'll kind of give her more of that weighted feeling of like a barrier between me and that area. So, and she even says, she goes, I didn't realize like how comfortable that would be. So it definitely does reach out into other areas of society that I wasn't even expecting. As a mom, I just wanted to make sure that I left this world a little more understanding of my baby. And now I'm realizing there are so many other people that we can help with this too.
I just can't wait. It's a really cool topic. I just can't wait to see more from you. Let me know if you need any help. But also, you're going to be at a few places coming up, right? You speak on this
Yes.
topic in other areas. So what's the best way for people to follow you?
Sway is on Instagram, so Amora J Studios. That's where we do a lot of showcasing of what we do and when I'm speaking and things like that. Our website too, you can always reach out to me if you ever have questions. I do mentorship calls and things like that too for people that want to either expand a skill set or they want to learn more. They want me to guide them in helping them with a particular client. I do that as well. I will be teaching at Mecca in Phoenix next month. I will also be teaching at the Awaken Retreat in August. And then I most likely will be back at Louisiana too. So I'm excited to see where this takes me.
Such a fascinating topic to me, Janice. And I think there are so many people probably listening to this podcast and going to be reaching out to you. And I would hope as well, reconsidering how they are connecting with their clients at home.
Yes, that's definitely where this can elevate our industry because there's so many ways that we can incorporate this in the treatment room. And I think one of the most important things is I have now looked into it. If we can start to make this kind of like a norm, we can get certain spa professionals to have contracts with like our state and county regional centers and things like that because they will pay for ABA therapists to come out to the spa and assist with teens and those that need the ABA therapy to learn self-care, advocacy. It can help with speech. So that's really my goal, is to really get us incorporated into an even bigger reason for all of this. We can help our communities as well. So that's like my big end goal, is to really elevate our industry like that. And in that sense, creating that topic and that culture of it is okay to just come as you are. Like it's very common for people to come into our lobby here. And if you see a kid running in circles because they're stimming, or you have a kid that's, just swaying back and forth and the mom is getting a facial, we are all very well aware of that. And the client base too is so comfortable being here and noticing that I know if they were to see it out in public, now they could be like, oh, she's probably just stimulating, or she's probably just a little overwhelmed. That is on my mom's side. What I want is, I want there to just be a little bit more understanding. And in doing so, we can also elevate the industry.
What do you recommend for the esthetician who wants more training in this and wants to be able to accommodate that clientele?
Reach out to me, because I do have classes that I'm scheduling. They're going to be virtual because a lot of this can be taught virtually. And then there are so many resources. So depending on the state, I can look up different parts of the county and get you connected to with just like advocacy groups and things like that, to where you can have kind of this network of, hey, this is what's going on with my client. What do you suggest? Because that's what I've done for us. So my daughter's team, if there's any questions that we ever have, I'm able to just call and be like, hey, this is going on. How can I word it so that they understand me better and things like that? So learning how to build your network of professionals to aid you in the treatment room is very, very critical when you want to extend your services into this community.
So I started out too saying that I'm aware, right? I'm way more aware of my clients, but I have to tell you guys both something is that I'm also aware of me. And so this is kind of a weird side effect that has happened since we first spoke, Janice, but I'm also aware that I think I have acquired a sensory processing, at least, I don't know, disorder or sensory processing sensitivity. I don't know if it's age. I don't know what it is. And it makes me think that that's okay for me to ask for myself to change things in a certain environment, whether it's at acupuncture or in my car from my husband.
It's very amazing when you realize that, because I do too. I have PTSD, and being able to recognize after I started helping my daughter to advocate for myself, like, I don't want you to touch me like that, or I don't like being whispered to in my ear, and I'm like, don't do that. So being able to advocate for myself too, it makes my life easier because I know how to keep myself comfortable. And I think we're so accommodating to each other when we voice boundaries. That's very big in our culture now. So learning how to advocate for these individuals who don't have that self-advocacy, and on the flip side, being able to advocate for ourselves, it's, I think, a little bit more welcomed to set that boundary of, hey, that really stresses me out. Can you not do that? So I love it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. And thank you so much for doing all the research, delay work, and then for teaching us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, listeners, we really want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on sensory considerations, and how do you plan to focus on inclusivity? Reach out via Instagram, Facebook, or send us an email at getconnected@ascpskincare.com. We want to know all the details. In the meantime, thank you for listening to ASCP Esty Talk. For more information on this episode, or for ways to connect with Maggie or myself or Janice, or to learn more about ASCP, check out the show notes and stay tuned for the next episode of ASCP Esty Talk.
This podcast is sponsored by Lamprobe. Lamprobe is a popular aesthetic tool that enables skincare practitioners to rapidly treat a wide variety of common minor skin irregularities, or MSI. Red MSI treated by Lamprobe include dilated capillaries and cherry angiomas, yellow MSI, cholesterol deposits and sebaceous hyperplasia, and brown MSI treated include skin tags and more. Lamprobe MSI treatments are non-invasive and deliver immediate results. Lamprobe can empower your skin practice with these new and highly in-demand services. For more information, visit lamprobe.com. That's LAMPROBE.com. And follow Lamprobe on social media @Lamprobe.